Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to talk about regular expression with Python. This video is part of a 3-video series. The first video, which is the video that we did last time, is the regular expression as a general topic. In this video, we are going to talk about implement regular expression in Python. And in the next video, we will do some fun projects on Harry Potter novel using regular expression. I'm going to provide the series playlist in the description below, so for people who are interested in my previous videos, you can go to the description and check them out. Now let's go to the Jupyter Notebook and see how we can implement regular expression with Python. But before that, let's first cover a very small topic, which is the raw string. In Python regular string, we simply just enclose our characters inside 2 quotes. So for example, in string 1, I'm saying hi \n, hi \n, hello. But this \n will be recognized by Python as a special character which represents a new line character. So if we print out string 1, we can see that the first hi, the second hi, and hello are all separated by these new line characters. Now, because in regular expression, we also have these special characters, so we don't want the regular expression and Python special character to confuse with each other. Therefore, when we specify our patterns for regular expression in Python, it is recommended to use the raw string. To create a raw string, we simply add a R in front of our regular string. So in this case, everything inside these 2 quotes will be treated as a raw string, which means that it will not contain any special character for Python. So if I have this raw string 1 and print the raw string 1 out, as you can see that we are printing \n and \n as is, and they are no longer treated by Python as a special character. The next cell contains the text that we are going to search using regular expressions. This is the exact text that we used in my previous video, so there's nothing special about it. The first 2 sentences are the first 2 sentences from Harry Potter novel chapter 1. I have a section for different format of example phone numbers. I also have a sections that help me to explain what are quantifiers. And then the last line is there to help me to explain how to use the OR characters. All those topics are covered in my previous videos, so we can print out the text. Now let's talk about how to compile a pattern. So the packages that we are going to use for regular expression is the RE package. This package usually comes with Python as default when you install the Python using Anaconda, so you don't really need to install any new package. The example pattern string will be a pattern that will search through phone numbers. The first open parenthesis is optional because we have this question mark. It will then be followed by 3 digits, and then the close parenthesis is also optional. And then we have a character set. It will be followed either by a dash or a white space. This character set is also optional, which is followed by a question mark. And then the pattern will be followed by 3 digits. Again, another optional character set that can be either a dash or a white space. And then lastly are the 4 digits. Once we enter this string as a raw string with R in front of it, this now becomes our pattern string. To compile a pattern into an object, we can simply use re.compile and then enter our raw string, which is the pattern string. Now this pattern object is our compiled pattern. Once we compile a pattern and generate this pattern object, we can then use that and its methods or its functions to do some search through the target text. The first function that I'm going to talk about is the search functions. This function will return only the first match as a match object. So for example, let's say we use our pattern object and its corresponding search functions. Open and close parentheses, enter our example text, save this entire thing as a result. When we print out the result, you can see that it's going to return this special data structure, which is the match object that belongs to this RE package. It also print out the matches. Okay, you only print out the first match, which is 123-123-7890, which is the first match over here. And it also gives you the span. So this object spanning from character index 2AA all the way to character index 300. If we want to access to the span specifically, then we can use result.span, open and close parentheses. If we want to access to the match property, then we can use result.group0. We talked about the difference between a group and a match in my previous videos. In this regular expression Python package, match will be represented by group 0, and then any other group will be represented by group 1, group 2, and group 3, etc. Okay, so that's for the search functions. Remember, it only returns the first match and that's it. It's not going to return any groups, just the match and then also only the first match. The next function that I'm going to talk about is the find all functions. The find all functions will return all matches in a list. So as you can see, if we call pattern underscore object dot find all, open and close parentheses with our example text, and then print out our result, we are going to get 4 matches inside a list, but this find all will only return the matches. It will not return any groups. Also, it will only return the matches. It will not return spanning index. The next function that we are going to talk about is the find iter functions. It's going to return an iterator that's going to yield match objects. So, okay, let's see what happened when we call pattern object.find iter with our example text and then print out the result. As you can see, it's going to be a callable iterator. I haven't talked about iterator yet. I have another series on Python tutorial. In that series, in the future, I'm going to talk about iterator in more detail. But right now, you can just think about iterator as something that you can iterate through using these next functions. So for example, if I'm going to call next, open and close parentheses with our result, we are going to get our first match object, which is 123-123-7890, and it's going to span on index 2AA and 300. But if I call it again, then it will return the very next object, 224-224-7890, and it's going to span index 301 and 313. If I call it again, then it will give me the next object and so on. Now, because we only have 4 matches, so we are going to get value when we call this next function 4 times. If I call the next function the 5th time, I'm going to get a stop iteration error. This is because this result, which is an iterator, is running out of the objects to return. If you want to get a new result, you will need to generate a new iterator again. So after I'm calling pattern object.find iter with our example text again, save that to result, then all the iterations will be start over. Now, another way you can iterate through an iterator is simply use a for loop. So in this example, I'm going to just calling I in result and then doing a for loop, print out each result object individually. As you can see, it will return 4 objects. But now if I want to run exactly the same loop again, I'm not going to get anything because an iterator will remember the state of the previous iterations. And in the previous iterations, we are already exhausted all the 4 matches. Therefore, when we call the same for loop again, we are not going to get any result. If we want to get more result, we need to regenerate this iterator again. So in this time, I'm going to not just print out each individual match object, I'm also going to print out the span of each match and then also the match itself. So here are the results. I like this find iter better than find all and search functions because not only will it gives you all the matches, it will also gives you the spanning index for all matches. And not only that, it will give you all the groups if you have your groups specified in your pattern. So for example, let's add some groups. To add groups, we simply enclose our target pattern inside a parenthesis. So for example, let's say we want to put these 3 digits, and these 4 digits as a groups. We can then enclose with these 3 digits with open and close parenthesis. Again, these 3 digits, we can enclose that with open and close parenthesis. These 4 digits, we can enclose that with open and close parenthesis. That way, we are going to have 3 different groups in this pattern. And then we can compile it. Now, I'm going to generate a new iterator using these find_iter methods. The iterator will be saved under this result variable, and I'm going to use a for loop to iterate through this result. First, I'm going to print out the match object, and then I'm going to print out the spanning index. I'm going to print out group 0, which is the match, and then group 1, group 2, and group 3. So here are the results. Match object, spanning index, the entire match, group number 1, group number 2, and group number 3. And we have all these information for each of the 4 matches. Towards the end of my previous video, I also talked about a topic of flags. So in regular expression, flags are simply different ways you can specify how you want the regular expression to search through your text. So for example, there is a flag for ignore case, which is pretty self-explanatory. It basically means that whenever we are going to search a pattern through a text, we are going to ignore whether the pattern is uppercase and lowercase, and we are going to find all the matches. So how do we use this flag? We can use it whenever we are going to compile our pattern. So I'm going to first print out the original text, and I'm going to show an example when there is no flags. So when there is no flags, we are just going to compile our pattern as what we did before. And then we are going to use these find_iter methods to search through our text. And I'm going to print out the result, the span, and the matches at the end. Okay, as you can see, I am searching through this 4-character they, and I found 2 matches. First one is spanning on index 75 to 79, and then the second one is 222 and 226, and they are, one of them is over here, and then another one is over here. Now if we use the flags ignore case when we compile our string and we execute our code, as you can see, we are now finding 3 matches. Not only do we find the previous 2 matches, but we also find a 3rd matches which has the first T being capitalized. Okay, this time this capitalized T is one of our match because we specify the regular expression to ignore any case difference. And the 3rd they with capitalized T is over here. Okay, so by specifying these flags equals to re.ignore case, it allows us to control whether you want the regular expression to ignore the case or not. re.ignore case is a long version of this flag. The shorter version, which is re.I, this will simply do the same thing, and it will save you some coding effort. So we simply get the same result. The next flag that I'm going to talk about is the multi-line flag. So by default, if we are not going to do this multi-line flag, then whenever we use this correct symbol, which represents the starting of a string, and then this dot special character which match everything except a new line, this correct character will only match the beginning of the entire string. So let me show you an example. Right here we are only getting 1 match of M. This is because we are only getting this M, which is at the very beginning of our string. But if we use the multi-line flag, then this correct is going to match the beginning of every new line. So let me show you an example. If we have this re.multi-line flag turned on, then as you can see, we are not just finding this M, we are also finding much more. We are going to get T, E, 1, 2. The reason is because they represent the first character of each new line. M, T, E, 1, 2, etc. Okay, so this re.multiline is the longer version. The short version is the re.m, which will give you exactly the same result. The third flag that we are going to talk about in this video, which is also the last flag, is the .o or simply S in the short version. So let's see some example with this special character dot followed by this $sign. $sign will match the end of the entire string. So if we run this code, compile it, and use the find iter methods, we are just going to match for the Y, which is the very end of our text. Now to make things more interesting, let's turn on the multi-line flag. And in this case, we are going to get much more result because now this $sign not only will match the end of the string, it's going to match the end of each sentence. So we are going to get this period over here, this period over here, this column over here, and then 0, 0, 0, 0. So period, period, column, 0, 0, 0, 0, etc. Okay, notice that we are not getting any new line character. This is because by default, a period, which is a special character in regular expression, will match anything except the new line characters. Okay, if we want this dot to match everything including the new line character, then we need to turn on this .o flag. Okay, and then if you want to turn on more than one flag, you can always use these OR characters. So I'm going to specify my flags to be multi-line or .o. That way it's going to turn on both flags. Now as you can see, not only we are getting dot, we are also getting new line characters. And that's the function of this .o flag. .o is the long version. We can simply use .s. It will also work exactly the same. After we understand how to do pattern search using regular expression with Python, let's talk about how we can not only search but also replace. So the functions that we are going to use search and replace is called sub. We are going to specify our pattern and compile it just as before, and then we can call these .sub functions, enter our substitute, and then our example text. So in this case, we are going to match all the phone numbers and substitute them with 000. Now as you can see, we are going to return the exact same text. The only thing that's different is these 4 numbers. They are now being replaced by 000s. You can also call your groups as a dynamic substitute pattern. So for example, if I want to substitute my phone numbers to be the same format, I want the first digit to be followed by a dash line, followed by the second 3 digits, followed by a dash line, followed by the 4 digits. Then we can use this \1 to represent the first group, \2 to represent the second group, and \3 to represent the third group. That way, we are going to search for all the phone numbers and we are going to replace them with exact same format, just like what we have over here. The very last function that we are going to talk about in this video is the split. Split allows you to split your text based on your regular expression pattern. So I'm simply give a very simple pattern, which is simply a white space, and compile it just like before. Now we can use this pattern object.split with our example text. If we execute it, you'll see that we are going to get a result as a list with all the texts that are being split by the white space. So the first element inside the list is Mr. Second one is and. The reason is because Mr. and and are separated by a white space. Okay, the third element will be Mrs. The reason is because there is a white space over there. Of course, you don't need to split your text using just the white space. You can use all sorts of regular expressions. So for example, I'm going to split our text. Every time I see this ER, so I'm going to get Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of noun. Obviously, this is number, but the ER is our splitting pattern, so ER will not be captured here, and then etc. Of course, this is were, WERE, another word over here. Okay, so that's how you can use the split function to split your text by any regular expression pattern that you specify. Everything that I talk about in this video is the functions that I think are most important. But if you want to have a complete list of all the functions and how regular expression works, you can go to this link, which is the Python official page for the regular expression. It looks something like this. Okay, it will talk about all the special characters for the regular expressions, and then it will also talk about special character as well. It will also talk about all the flags. I only talk about 3 flags in this video, but there are more. You can go there and check out all the details. All the functions are here. Search, we talk about that. Obviously, we didn't talk about match. We didn't talk about full match. But find all, we talk about that in this video. Find iter, sub. So this page will give you every information that you need for regular expression in Python. Okay, this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy it. If you want to see similar video in the future, don't forget to like and subscribe. Other than that, I will see you in my next video.